I've been putting in applications on Indeed and just no one's calling me back.
Shout out to Young Hvac.
Shout out to Young Hvac. Shout out to Young Hvac.
What's good? It's your boy Young Hvac, and if you're clicking on this video, then you're probably wondering, how am I supposed to land an HVAC job, an entry-level HVAC job? Whether you've been looking online or you've just been hearing that getting a job is hard, I'm here to nip that in the bud and let you know how you should be out there applying for jobs and whether the way you've been doing it is right or wrong. For a lot of you, I already know how you've been doing it. So every now and then I'm getting emails and they're like, oh, Young Hvac, I just graduated school, or I'm in school and I'm applying to jobs, but I just can't find anything. No one's calling me back. And the first thing I asked them, well, how are you applying to those jobs? Well, I've been putting in applications on Indeed and just no one's calling me back. Stop right there. So that's where everyone has been going wrong at. When it comes to these major websites, Indeed, Monster, and so on and so on, not to say that they're not great websites when it comes to finding a job, but what most of us end up doing is we're applying to all these jobs and wondering why we're not getting any calls back. So let's just say this is your resume. If you're new, then your resume is gonna look a little bit something like this. There's gonna be nothing about HVAC on there, or maybe you have a little bit of experience. But don't worry. What a lot of you are also seeing is, oh, this job says that I need to have 3 years, I need to have 4 years, I need to have 5 years, 1 year. So what happens is you go to apply to those jobs and it says that you should have 2 years experience, 1 year's experience, and so on and so on. So what happens to your resume when you click apply on there is that these websites, they have an algorithm. If your resume doesn't meet a certain requirement that that company is looking for, it automatically goes out the door. So now what you're probably thinking is, well, what should I do now that I just found out that what I've been doing hasn't been working or it hasn't been effective? So what I would recommend is looking up the companies that are in your area. So whether that's Google Maps or whatever you use, look up the companies that are in your area. Do some research, look up the reviews, and then actually go to those companies. We make the mistake of sitting at home because we want to type everything up on a computer. We want to do applications on a computer. But when it comes to jobs like this, a lot of contractors are very old school. So although they'll have their job listings, or you'll only see the job listings of those positions that they really need because they're so desperate for someone with that kind of experience to fill that position. But yeah, could you imagine if they posted entry-level positions like that? You would have thousands of people applying. So normally what companies would do is they're going to ask the guys within their company first, like, hey, do you guys know any good candidates for this position, and so on and so on. What happens is those are the guys that are usually chosen first. But if those recommendations don't make it through, the next guy in line is the guy that physically went out, physically handed them his resume. You put a face to your resume right then and there. There's nothing more powerful than that. Even if you have to go into that place 5 times, 10 times, this is not going to show that you're a pest. This is going to show that you're actually committed, that you're trying to land a spot with that company. You need to go into that company, let them know, hey, I did my research. You guys are one of the top companies. I would love to work for this company and grind my way up from the bottom to the top. I'm looking for a place, blah, blah, blah. you guys really fit that, you know. And you never want to ask when can you start, but you want to show up to that job ready to work that same exact day. So a good practice would be to bring your tools with you. At the school, we actually teach brazing. And what we do is we give you a piece of copper that you brazed. So if you were to go to an interview as an installer, you can say, hey, in school I learned this and this and this. I know that as an installer, I'm going to be brazing a lot. So I brought a sample of some work that I did in school. That's going to automatically put you in front of that guy who's never done any kind of HVAC work, or they've been working on cars, or, you know, they want to know that they're investing their time and money into someone that's going to actually pay off. Hiring you is pretty much an investment on a company. So they want to know that if they're hiring a guy that at least knows a little bit about something, they don't have any bad habits, and a guy that they can actually train up to be a really good part of their team. With that being said, entry-level jobs, you're never going to see them posted. You're going to have to go out and get those jobs. What I had did, and I got pretty lucky, because the way that I was thinking was, hey, I need to get my foot in the door. So I had seen a job listing for a duct cleaner helper or something. And so it turns out I went to that interview. I straight up asked him, I said, hey, so about how long will I have to do this? You know, because I went to school to be an HVAC technician, and that's what I really want to be. So they said, you know what? If you want to be an HVAC technician, then that's what we're going to train you up to be. And long story short, I ended up doing whatever I had to do to show that I was worth it, and I ended up moving up pretty quickly. And most of the time I just asked them, well, have you been to any places? No, they haven't called me to come in. Okay, so you're just going to be waiting forever, because most of the time you may not get that call. They want the guys that are hungry. They want the guys that are going to go and get it. So make sure that you're going to these companies first and then handing in their resume. A lot of these guys are old school. A lot of these companies are old school. They've been around for quite some time. But later on, when you got that experience, go ahead and update your resume, because now when you're putting in those applications for those jobs that are asking for 1, 2, 3 years, if you have that kind of experience, then your resume has a greater chance of being selected for an interview. But when it comes to landing an entry-level position, you want to make sure that you're going out to those places. You want to stand out, because there's going to be a long line of people just like you. And what's going to separate you is the fact that you actually went out to see them, and you made a great first impression, and they're ready to give you a shot now. Versus that guy who's still sitting at home waiting for them to call. Most entry-level jobs, they're going to require you to have some kind of tools. So all your basic hand tools, a manifold gauge set, and so on. If you show up to that job interview with those tools, that's going to separate you from that guy that only showed up with his resume, who probably doesn't even have tools, or that guy that says he's been doing such and such and such, but when you can pull out a piece of that sample work that you've done, that's a lot more powerful than a guy who's just been saying he's been walking the walk for so long, because it's all about separating yourself from other candidates in order to land that position that you want. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but you have to understand that in life in general, if there's something you want, you got to go out and get it. So I need you to go out and get it. Stop sitting around waiting for things to happen. You got to make it happen. Okay, so you've landed that job now, and it's very important that you do that job to your best ability. So if you're a helper, make sure that you're helping. Although it may seem like you're not doing much, every little thing that you do, they are taking note of it. So for example, if you see that they're doing a pump down or they're about to do a pump down, just mentioning that small little phrase, hey, you guys about to do a pump down, that lets them know like, okay, this guy knows about what he's doing. Or let's just say you're riding along on that major repair car, and it's like, hey, are we gonna do a pump down or are we gonna have to recover? And it's that terminology, that wording, that's gonna let them know, hey, this guy, he already seems to know a little bit about something, so automatically you're better than that guy that they've had to train up, and you're gonna move up a lot faster because there's a lot less things that they have to sharpen you up on before allowing you to be on your own. So for anyone in school, it's so important that you're grasping those concepts, the refrigeration cycle and heat pumps, gas heating, and so on and so forth. It's so important that you know those terminologies, especially starting off. Is going to make you stand out from other candidates, and ultimately it's going to land you that position that you want. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If anyone else has any techniques for entry-level positions or how to land an entry-level position, please comment down below. Thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. I've made it up to 4,000 subscribers. I've been slacking off heavy, but now it's time. I'm back. It's your boy Young Hvac, and today has been a good day.